Planet Dinosaur Part 4. Enjoy. The next day, the parents went out hunting. Scratch and his mate went out hunting. Their main meal that day was a Stegosaurus. Luckily, they're hiding behind some bushes. The Stegosaurus will not notice them really until they finally come out. Scratch and his mate have prepared a very serious plan to catch this Stegosaurus. Scratch will chase the target, and his mate will jump out and attack it. Stegosaurus use their long thorn tails to protect themselves from enemies, like an ankylosaurus when they use their malleted tails to swing while they're eating their plants to defend themselves from predators, like a tyrannosaurus. The Stegosaurus is quietly eating its plants while the thorn tail is swinging around, protecting itself from predators. Luckily, Scratch has had lots of encounters with the Stegosaurus, so he knows what to do in order to avoid its thorn tail. His mate knows the same thing. Then, when it's time, Scratch jumps and attacks. In the end, Patch's mate uses her 6-ton bite force to finally crush the neck bones in the Stegosaurus's neck, instantly killing the herbivore, the foolish herbivore. But you're probably wondering how they're going to carry this big meal home to the younglings. Well, Patches have an idea in mind. Since he has a mate, they both stand next to each other, and then they would load the dead animal on them and carry it off to their younglings. Back at the nest in the canyon, the younglings are having a fun time, having fun and playing. They are males, which means they are both brothers. The brothers are having fun. Oh, it looks like but unfortunately one of the younglings falls off the cliff. The older youngling. Luckily, the youngling survived the fall since the fall was not that high. But he doesn't know what that is watching him is a Herosaurus. Herosauruses are known for their very long skulls and sharp teeth, and long, distinctive claws, even on their feet as well. Ding. The Herosaurus is not that big, smaller than a T-Rex at least, and an Allosaurus. But it's not going to miss this chance to take a meal by surprise. While the youngling is trying to figure out how to get back up to the nest, the Herosaurus jumps at its chance to attack. The youngling tries to move, but the Herosaurus grabs it because of its long and distinctive. It's smashing it against a few rocks, trying to desperately strangle its meal up against the rocks. While the youngling is desperately trying to call for its mom and dad, Scratch and his mates hear it and quickly drop the dead Stegosaurus that they have on their backs and rush to their youngling. Meanwhile, while the Herosaurus is still trying to strangle his food, he notices the Tyrannosaurus. The youngling is now bleeding to death and will probably drop down in a few seconds. It's desperately trying to call for its mom and dad to try to help, but the Herosaurus just keeps shaking it, desperately trying to make it stop. But the parents already know that their youngling is in danger. Scratch attacks first. The Herosaurus tries to scratch the female Tyrannosaur, but the Tyrannosaur grabs it by the arm and tears it clean off. While the Herosaurus, screaming in pain, it ends up dropping the youngling, freeing it. Scratch takes this moment to move it out of the way, while its youngling is still weakened. Again, Scratch's mate uses her 6-ton bite force to instantly kill the Herosaurus. The Herosaurus bleeds to death. Blood even drops out of its mouth, and the Herosaur dies. Scratch picks up its wounded youngling and is gonna bring it back to the nest. The female Tyrannosaur, or also known as Scratch's mate, drops the Herosaur down for its youngling to eat. Scratch puts down his wounded youngling. The wounded youngling is still able to walk, and he limps right over to his meal. The parents decide to lay down. Hopefully they won't have to go through another problem again like this. The parents sit down and rub against each other and just watch the younglings eat their meal. To be continued.